Anyways, Andy, do we have some questions?
Yeah, so we're gonna start with the question from the backlog
Okay.
that didn't make it last time. It's from Raza,
Mm-hmm.
and the question is if you would be able to create or recreate a story for a WoW zone based on the zone's thematic or artistic feel, which zone would you choose and where would you take the story?
Oh, that's an easy one. Fuck, that's easy. Because we literally spoke about it not long ago. Can I give you 4 zones instead of just 1?
I mean, sure, it's your show, right?
Alright, I'm gonna give you Maldraxxus, Bastion, Ravendreth, and Autumnweald. And I am going to remake them to be hell. Like literal hell. A place that you do not want to be in. So think Maldraxxus, Nurgle, the realm of Nurgle. Think Slanesh. So think 40k Chaos Gods levels of hell. Think about a place that when the mortals, us, Azeroth, stepped through that portal for the first time into the Maw, nothing, not even the Maw, could have prepared us for the nightmares that we were about to see. I believe that Shadowlands' biggest failure, and I will go out on the record saying this, I believe the biggest failure of Shadowlands was that it removed our fear of death. It just removed the idea of, oh my god, I don't want to die. Can you imagine how impactful death would have been if we arrived in the Shadowlands and realized that, holy fuck, we are being used by gods and demons that basically strip us of everything that makes us mortal, everything that makes us human, everything that makes us good. We're basically used as fuel for the fire. I mean, monsters everywhere. Bastion, for example, would be... I would take the mind control element that is already within Bastion and I would just fucking like hype that up, like dial it to 200. So in other words, think of Bastion as this place of decadence, right? So it is this place of beauty and purity. And it is a place where mortals, when your soul arrives there, you are tortured. You are physically fucking abused to remove anything that they consider to be imperfection, impurity. It is forcefully removed and then replaced by something like machines or, you know, some kind of otherworldly flesh, if you will. So we should have a genuine fear of what this is, because that would have made everything make so much more sense. Sylvanas saying at the top of Ice Cream that this world is a prison would suddenly make a whole lot of sense. Also, the burning of Teldrassil would have been so much more impactful, right? Because those souls didn't just end up in the Maw in some fucking room inside Torghast. Those souls went to a miserable place, like a truly horrendous place, a place that no mortal wants to be. And our whole goal there would be to destroy these gods, these evil creatures, which would have then made the Primus, Denathrius, the Winter Queen, and Carestia. They would have been our enemies. They would not have been our friends. We would be there to put shit right, to fix the Shadowlands, and to remove the evil, as it were. Also, Ergo, by the way, thanks for the $1. Really appreciate that. I feel like piercing the veil was already a big risk. Because right now, the reason why a lot of... Let's step out of World of Warcraft for 2 seconds and let's use a different genre as an example. George R.R. Martin describes in an interview why he doesn't like magic in series and in stories. His reason for not liking magic actually makes so much fucking sense. Magic is sort of like the ultimate deus ex machina. The problem when you have unchecked magic inside stories is whenever you want to change something or you want to retcon something, or maybe you've written yourself into a little bit of a corner, you can use magic as a means to just go, oh, never mind. We fixed it now. A great example of a show that did this to the max would be Supernatural. I love Supernatural, but think about the amount of times that the brothers, Sam and Dean, die in that show, and they are consistently brought back with the use of demons and magic. The problem is that magic is this ultimate get out of jail free card. Now, in a universe like World of Warcraft, when you have something like death, right, you want death to be scary. You want death to be this sort of, oh my god, what happens to us when we die? So we pierce that veil, we get to the other side, and what we realize is, oh, nothing, actually. It's all fucking good, It's all great. Who cares? Like, is there anyone, genuine question, is there anyone that has any fear left for dying in World of Warcraft? Like, is anyone really, still sad that Sourfang died? No, because Sourfang probably went to a nice place, The Shadowlands is filled with nice places. Would you be sad if the next mortal dies in World of Warcraft? Is anyone sad that Vol'jin died? No, because we already know that Vol'jin died and is now becoming a Loa. So Vol'jin's coming back. Which means death have become completely trivial as a result of the Shadowlands. What you wanted death to be is harsh, evil. You wanted us to not want to die, especially in a universe where it's us versus everyone fucking else, So I would have preferred I would have preferred to redo those zones. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I would go about it a different way, but sure.
What would you do?
I like the surface way the zones worked, but I don't like how they ended. There was no change in what we did. It had no impact, obviously. That's been said before. And obviously the main plot that was going with the jailer was weak, so all of the zones were hurt by that also.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if all the zones worked as they did normally, but the outcome was visible. However, there was a sinister plot underneath in every zone.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a twist. I think that would have worked out well, while giving not such an edgy feeling to everything.
Yeah. I think I can agree with that. If we're gonna dial mine back, right? So if we're gonna say, okay, let's not go that extreme, then yeah, all right. I mean, if we're gonna talk about zones actually adapting and changing, that is something that I've had a massive gripe in World of Warcraft with for a really long time, because it happens so fucking often where we'll do all of these dailies, we'll progress the bar. So the bar fills up, right? And we're constantly doing dailies and constantly collecting resources. But the world never changes to reflect what I'm doing. So by the time I reach Exalted, old school system, Exalted, it looks exactly the same as it did when I was Friendly. And it's kind of like, wait, but why don't we have visual progression? Why do I not see the world physically change and adapt as I'm doing things? I think that would do a lot for people to feel a lot more immersed in the world overall, because that means that even though we are seeing the world in alpha, and beta because it is being spoiled, we're not actually seeing the world, because once you're at Exalted, the world is going to change. It's going to look completely different to how it looked, when we saw it on alpha. So I would say the adaptability and the sort of scale of the world definitely needs to increase. And hopefully we get some of that in Dragonflight. Hopefully Blizzard does actually let the world tell its own story. Because this is where we get to, is the world a character or is the world just a canvas? World of Warcraft have always had the world be its own character. And I feel that would bring that back in a major way. If the world adapts and levels up, it grows with us. For example, so yeah, I would absolutely like that. If we're gonna scale back on what I want, which is to literally just change the story of Shadowlands in its entirety, right? Anyways, yeah, that's my answer.
Yep, perfect.